said, I want to tell a little bit of the story behind True North, my story, why I'm here, why I'm talking to you guys, and kind of dive deep. So, for those of you who don't know, my name is Brady, and I've been in the fitness industry for about 10 years now. My personal journey, my personal career has taken a lot of changes throughout this time, but this really all started for me. This health, this you know mission of improving yourself started back in high school. From an early age, I was a basketball player. I was always in the gym. I was always working on my craft. That was really my identity. And um, it wasn't until I was about 15 when I started. I basically had three pretty serious injuries in a row that took me out of sport. So I spent a lot of time in physical therapy, not a lot of time on the court. And for me, having my identity being a player, it really forced me to question a lot of things, and I lost a lot of confidence. I didn't know who I was if I wasn't an athlete, and so I was also very, very skinny. So I was getting pushed around a lot. I gained my confidence from being a good player, not from being a strong guy, not from being a big guy. And so when this all went down, I had pretty bad ankle issues. I had a torn ligament in my shoulder, and I had a stress fracture in my lower back, all within the span of 1.5 years. Uh, so I just, in terms of confidence wise, I'm broken. I can't do what I want to do. I'm smaller than all my friends. So just as a man from an early age, you know, it was tough. And so being in physical therapy kind of led me to getting into the gym. And that's when I started to find my new purpose. This was a new identity that I could shift into as somebody that really pushes themselves in the gym and really pushes to see what you're capable of doing. And so I made a lot of progress. I got taller, I gained muscle. And so I went from that skinny kid to, in the later years of high school, being the jacked guy. I kind of lived both sides. And it's just interesting how we really attach ourselves to the physical, right? Like I identified as a basketball player, then I identified with the gym rat, the gym bro, the guy that likes to be working out and following all these plans and really educating myself in nutrition and training. It wasn't until much later that I started to realize that no matter what you choose to identify with, it's always going to leave you empty until you start to develop the feelings and develop yourself into the person on the inside. And so that's that kind of originated my focus. I always knew that this was going to be a part of my life. I just didn't really know how. So as this was all going on, my dad had some job changes. He was doing his own thing. He kind of started his own business. He was in the golf industry, and he was taking a long trip to go pick up some equipment. And at first, I was actually going to go with him. And this is something that I actually don't really talk about ever. But there was at one point that I was talking about going with him on this. But my younger brother ended up going, who was like 9 years old at the time. They were in a serious car accident. Car flipped multiple times. My brother was ejected. Where he was ejected, the car was fully caved in where he was. So had he not been ejected, probably wouldn't be here today. My dad was trapped in the car. He was airlifted to the nearest hospital. Broken spine, brain injury. It was a lot. My brother somehow had no serious injuries, which was nothing short of a miracle. So that I was about 16 years old when that happened, and obviously very, very fortunate to have them both still here with us. Have my dad made you know, about as full of a recovery as he could make from that situation. And, you know, he's one of the most important people in my life to this day. That put me in a position very early on to rethink what my purpose is and what my responsibilities are. Being the oldest of four boys and having no one know what's going to happen, what the future holds, it's a very emotional time. And so I had to really learn how to manage my emotions and how to be a leader, whether that's vocally or just with your actions, very early on. And you know, there's no rule book for that. There's no blueprint. You kind of have to learn on the fly. And going from a situation to where my whole life revolved around sports and training, just being a normal high school kid, to seeing life in a very different way, it you know, it gave me some perspective on one, how precious life can be. It gave me some perspective on how serious life changes affect people. I mean, I've seen people that had similar things happen to where it can easily lead you down the road of drugs, alcohol, things that are going to help take the pain away or take the stress away for a short time. But in the long run, it's not the solution. Right. And so that was something that was in the back of my mind throughout this, for myself. It also gave me some perspective on big pharma and seeing the route that the doctors wanted to take with my dad, and just loading him up with pain pills. You know, it just really, it kind of made me think a little bit differently, and did my own homework and realize how much of a conflict of interest there was with the medical industry and how much they're making, and if they are making decisions that are actually right for the patient or not. You know, it's definitely, you know, a conversation to be had. So there was a lot of different avenues that I went down that I had to learn about. And shortly in the next few years following this, now I finished high school, I'm in college. I'm still very focused on fitness. You know, that was always my escape, but now it's starting to become more of my life. And so I'm in school for kinesiology at Cal State Fullerton. And my parents get divorced at this time. So, you know, kind of another shift of where everything that you once knew is different. And this is really where I saw, you know, this is really where some of the stuff in the medical industry what came into play for me, that made me want to be able to help people on a deeper level. And I can remember vividly, it was my job to take my two youngest brothers, who were 10 years old and 12, I think, at the time, from my mom's to my dad's. And I remember taking them, and I was supposed to drop them off at my dad's, and he was on so many pain pills that were not being abused. It was, you know, what they were, the amount that he was taking consistently. And he was not in a state to where I could justify leaving them with him. It was not a good situation. And for him at the time, that was really the only thing that he had in his life. The only thing that he had to look forward to was to see his kids. And so I had to be that person to not leave them there and to take them with me. And, you know, that's one that kind of stuck with me. And I think it stuck with him too, because it was shortly after that to where he really dove deeper into looking at more holistic ways of healing and seeking out different opinions. And in the months following that, I actually lived with him for a short time, while he was going through a lot of this stuff, and I was able to see it firsthand, and just the improvements that it made for him mentally and his cognitive function and his energy levels. And so, just this process as a whole, from seeing things on the health side of things, seeing things on a leadership perspective, this whole experience of going through, personal identity shifts, family changes, near-death experiences, it just brought a little bit deeper meaning to everything that I do. And I was always interested in fitness, but when this all happened, in my head, the changes that we see in the gym, improving your health, improving your physique, it really didn't matter. Being there for your family matters. Being able to run around with your kids, some people aren't going to be able to do that. And if you're able-bodied, if you're healthy, it is your responsibility to take care of yourself. And for men especially, we go through a lot of things to where we're expected to keep our shit together, and we're expected to be strong. And it can be a lot. And there is no excuse to not seek out the help that you need to get your mind right, to get your mind in the right place, whether that is a coach, a therapist, a men's group, some sort of support that is outside of your family is so critical to maintaining the energy that you need, to being that person that your family needs, to being that person in your business, to your friends. Just because life gets hard doesn't give you the excuse to lose control of your emotions and to not seek a way to improve. There's going to be peaks and valleys, but I want to make it very clear, and I want to be able to provide help and to provide answers and to provide support and community to the people that need it. And so that's where everything started to shift. So kind of, moving on through that, I got my degree. I started my own business as an independent personal trainer. But throughout this whole experience, I felt like something was missing. And I didn't really know what. I knew that I've always been a lot different than a lot of the stereotypical trainers. I have a much different personality. I think I connect with people on a deeper level, and I've always been passionate about that. And after being a lone wolf and feeling like I had to have all the answers, especially as a younger trainer, you feel like you get looked down on a lot by people. And so, you don't want to admit your faults. You don't want to admit what you don't know. And after going through enough of that, I decided to join some coaching groups and hire some mentors. And that's really what changed my life and it opened up some new possibilities for me. And in that process, I was able to go to some amazing retreats. And I want to credit my mentor, Jordan Belks, who he saw something in me and had a conversation with me. And again, I was used to being the youngest person at a lot of these events. And so every conversation generally starts with people trying to help you, which is kind, which is great. But from my perspective, always being the smallest kid, having the car accident happen to where all these families were always trying to offer their support to us for over a year, which I'm very thankful for. But it kind of puts you in this feeling of people don't see you for you. They see you as, something's wrong and they want to help. They're not seeing you eye to eye, right? And when I would have conversations with people, it'd always be like, how is your family? How are you doing? And I just wanted to have a conversation, just talk to me as me. So I already had my guard up, you could say, to these type of things. And at every single event, when it would start with people trying to help me, people acting like they have much more knowledge than me, so they can show me what to do. It it kind of rubs me the wrong way. And that's not, not to be ungrateful for the support by any means. I'm very grateful, but just, I want to look at someone as equal, and I want to ask for help, but I also want to feel like I can contribute to the conversation. And Jordan was one of the first people that just took interest in me and talked to me, and was, we had a conversation and we connected very, very quickly. And so shortly after meeting him, we started working together, and he was coaching me up. I was coaching him up on some of the training side of things. And through our conversations, True North came up as part of his teaching method and his teaching curriculum. And as I had started my own business, it was called HutchFit. And after my dad's car accident, one of the first things he gave me once he got somewhat close to having his health back was a compass, and it had a Bible verse on it. And to me, it meant a lot to me. To me, it meant that he was always there for me, and it showed me that physical health, success, accolades, that's not really what it means to be a man. That's not what it means to be a good dad. That's not what it means to be a leader. It is being there for people. You can still guide people and lead people even when you don't have your health, just by being there, just by taking interest in what they're doing, just by being a good listener, asking good questions. And I thought more of my dad after all this stuff happened than when he had everything going for him and he was successful in his career, but he wasn't there all the time. He was working a lot. And when he was able to have the life to where he could be there for us much more and really dive deeper in our personal relationships, is where my respect increased, our relationship increased. And so the compass was very meaningful to me. And when Jordan brought up the concept of True North, it really aligned with what I was saying with having the compass as my initial logo, because I wanted to be able to guide people. I want to be able to lead people. I want them to be able to lead their families. I want this to be a collective where we're investing our time, money, and energy into our health. And if we get in great shape, that's awesome. But that is really a side effect of what we're doing here. What we're doing is creating stronger people. You're creating the willpower, you're creating the discipline, you're creating the habits. And the side effect of that is you get in great shape. And so that just clicked for me, and I just prayed on it, meditated on it, and it just became something that I wanted to embody and I wanted to help people with, because the amount of conversations that I would have where people would come to me wanting to get in good shape, and we get to talking and they actually tell me what's going on in their life with their wife, with their, drugs, alcohol, not sleeping, negative self-talk, the list goes on. And I want to make it very clear that you can't skip steps. We have to put in that inner work. We have to do the healing. We have to create yourself into the person that you need to be. And that goes deeper than the physical. So, fast forward to now, I want to embody these messages. I want to talk about things. I want to be vulnerable with you guys. I want you guys to know that true strength is not holding everything in, not holding all of your emotions in until it overflows and you lose your composure. It's being vulnerable. It's not being a victim. It's saying what you're going through, admitting when you're struggling, but seeking a solution, not seeking help, or sorry, not seeking sympathy. You're seeking a way. And what you can now do is you can use your life and your experiences to help other people, to be there for other people, because someone out there is just a couple steps behind you and they need to hear your experiences from you. And that is a fact. So think about, sometimes you might not feel like you can do it for you. If you can't do it for you, do it for them. Do it for the other people in your life. So, today True North is now my coaching community, and we help get into better shape. We help get your fitness routine, your nutrition protocols, your morning routines, your focus dialed in. But we also have a community of people doing the same, and the sky is the limit here. There's going to be a lot of opportunities for growth in the near future, and I'm really excited because I know that this is something that's missing from society right now, especially for men. Having a group of like-minded people, having a safe space to where you can open up and admit what you're going through and ask for help, it is a missing piece. You don't have to hit rock bottom to want to seek this out. That's a huge part of this. You don't have to hit rock bottom. Save yourself that headache, that breakdown. Have the awareness now to start to improve your situation, and don't let it continue to slip. So, like I said, my goal here is to talk about the topics that not everybody is able to talk about at this stage of their life. Be open-minded about what we can do to improve our health, what we can do to improve our mindsets, mind, body, spirit, relationships, our habits. And, it's not a focus on one thing in particular. It's just understanding that we need to build ourself into the person, and all of the things that you see on the outside are simply the side effects that come with that. So I'm super excited about this. There's a lot of topics that I'm going to dive into here, but for today, I just wanted to tell a little bit more of the story of why I'm doing this. And, if any of this resonates with you listening, just know I'm here. Sometimes you just need to know that you're not the only one. And now that next step to this is, what is your true north? So when we talk about true north, what does that mean? Your true north is your why, right? And my why has changed many times throughout this process. But what is your why to get in shape? It's not just to get a six-pack for the summer. It might be a short-term goal, but in the big picture, what is your why? Did you lose someone in your family to a health problem? Do you need to get your mind right because you've seen people close to you struggle with mental health? Or do you just need to take life into your own hands and stop just drifting through life, stop not living for a purpose, and start to figure out what you are here to do, who you are here to help, and start taking action on that? So your true north is what's going to allow you to be consistent here. People struggle with consistency all the time because they don't know what their true north is. They don't know what their why is. So you go through these ups and downs because you don't know why you're doing this. And that's the first thing that I want to do when you guys have a conversation with me, is figure out what's the whole point of this. Because sometimes you might be going after something that is not what you're meant to be going after. It's maybe what your friends or your family thinks is right, or what you may think is right. But until you do this inner work, until you get into your routines, until you start meditating, until you start having conversations with like-minded people, you're going to be stuck in your own thoughts. So this is a very crucial part of this process, because you can save yourself years of going down the wrong road just by creating more clarity around what you're here to do. And then we can reverse engineer your daily action steps to align with that. And now you're in flow state more. Now you're doing things and it's really lighting you up because there's a purpose behind this. And it's always about something bigger than you, right? We're here to serve, right? We're here to become better leaders. We're here to serve. We're here to leave our mark on humanity. And we need to get our minds and bodies right in order to do that, right? If you don't have your health, you have nothing. And I know you guys have heard that quote, people have all these things that they want in their life, but once they get sick, or once you get something serious that happens to your health, then you only want one thing, and that's your health. So we have to start there. But I think a lot of people, it ends there, and I don't want it to end there. I want to go deeper. I want to have these conversations. I want to have the hard conversations, because that's what's the things that you're missing right now is just on the other side of that hard conversation, just on the other side of that uncomfortable action. and I want to be able to help you facilitate that. So I'll wrap it up for you guys today, but I really appreciate having you here, and we will get into some topics in the circling around the mind, body, and spirit in the next episodes to come. So I look forward to diving deeper, and remember to continue on this endless, relentless pursuit of your true north. And I'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.